Dad, I need to be honest with you about what happened. I made a terrible mistake, and I don't know how to fix it.
The rain hammered the roof like fists on a coffin, drowning out the sobs that had filled the house all afternoon. Alex gripped the edge of the kitchen counter, his knuckles white, as the last mourner shuffled out the door, murmuring condolences that felt like echoes in an empty grave. But then he heard it, the soft click of the door not fully latching, and footsteps that didn't fade into the storm. His stepdad, Mark, lingered in the shadowed hallway. Rain-slicked coat dripping onto the faded Persian rug their mom had picked out during happier times. At 45, Mark looked every bit the anchor he'd always tried to be, broad shoulders straining against a wool blazer, wire-rimmed glasses fogged from the downpour, his face etched with lines that grief had deepened overnight. Alex, 22 and still boyish in his threadbare flannel shirt and jeans, avoided his gaze, the air between them thick with words unsaid since the funeral. The funeral. For Elena, Alex's mom, Mark's wife of 15 years. Cancer had stolen her in months, leaving a void that swallowed the household. Everyone else had come and gone, cousins with casseroles, neighbors with awkward hugs, but Mark stayed, his presence a quiet rebellion against the solitude creeping in. He cleared his throat, the sound slicing through the silence like a knife. "Alex," he said, voice rough as gravel, "we need to talk. About her. About us." Alex's heart slammed against his ribs. Us? There was no us, not anymore. Not with the secret he'd buried deeper than his mother's casket. He'd watched Mark these past weeks. The way his stepdad's hands trembled pouring coffee. The way his laugh had died with Elena's last breath. And in stolen moments, Alex had felt something shift, a forbidden warmth blooming in the wreckage. But now, with the house echoing empty, Mark's words hung like a noose. Mark stepped closer, shedding his coat like old skin, revealing the simple gray sweater that hugged his frame. A remnant of the counselor he was at Lincoln High, patient, perceptive, always seeing through the bullshit. "Your mom. She knew things," he began, eyes locking onto Alex's with an intensity that pinned him in place. "Things about me. About why I stayed, even when it hurt." Alex's breath caught. The rain outside softened to a patter, as if the world held its breath too. What could Elena have known? The letters Alex had glimpsed in her drawer. Faded ink confessing Mark's college flings with boys? Or the way Mark's gaze lingered on Alex during family dinners. A flicker of something unspoken. "She made me promise," Mark continued, voice cracking like thunder in the distance, "to tell you the truth if anything happened to her. Because she saw how you looked at me. Kid. And God help me. I saw it too." Alex reeled, the counter digging into his palms. The hook of confession yanked him under, the family he'd clung to fracturing in the wake of this revelation. Mark, the man who'd taught him to throw a baseball, to fix a carburetor, had been hiding the same shadows Alex wrestled with in the dark of his bedroom. Gay. The word screamed silently in Alex's mind, a mirror to his own midnight confessions. The Grindr apps deleted in shame. The crushes on straight boys that left him hollow. But Mark didn't stop. He crossed the room in 2 strides, close enough that Alex could smell the rain on his skin, mixed with the faint cedar of his cologne. "I loved your mom, Alex. Truly. She was my best friend, the one who pulled me out of the closet in our 20s and said, 'We'll make it work for the kid you'll help me raise someday.'" His hand hovered near Alex's arm. Not touching, but the heat of it burned. But I've carried this weight, pretending for the family. For you. And now that she's gone, I can't pretend anymore. Not with you. The world tilted. Alex's vision blurred, not from tears, but from the rush of blood in his ears. He wanted to bolt, to shatter the moment with a laugh or a curse. But Mark's eyes held him, raw and pleading, the blue depths swirling with regret and a hunger that mirrored Alex's own buried desires. "What are you saying?" Alex whispered, his voice a fragile thread. Mark's lips parted, then closed, as if tasting the words before unleashing them. "I'm saying I stayed because I couldn't leave you. Not just for a memory. For us. If you'll have it." Thunder rolled again. Closer now, vibrating the windows. Alex's mind raced through memories. Mark's strong arms around him after his first breakup. The way he'd listen without judgment when Alex hinted at his confusion over boys in high school. Elena's knowing smiles. Her gentle nudges toward Mark during movie nights. It all clicked, a puzzle assembling in the storm's fury. But fear clawed at him, the family gossip that would erupt, the small-town whispers in Willow Creek, Ohio, where secrets like theirs could torch everything left standing. Yet in that charged silence, something ignited. Alex reached out, fingers brushing Mark's sleeve, tentative as a first kiss. I felt it too," he admitted, the confession tasting like freedom and fire. Mark's face crumpled, relief and torment twisting together, and then he pulled Alex into an embrace that crushed the air from his lungs, solid, unyielding, a lifeline in the deluge. They stood there as the rain wept for them, the house no longer a tomb but a confessional, where truths spilled like floodwaters, reshaping the ruins. As the storm raged on, they sank onto the worn leather couch, the one Elena had reupholstered in a fit of optimism years ago. Mark's hand found Alex's, calluses rough from years of coaching soccer, intertwining with the softness of Alex's barista fingers, stained faintly from espresso grounds. "It wasn't supposed to be like this," Mark murmured, staring at the family photos on the mantel, Elena's radiant smile beside their awkward prom poses. Alex's high school graduation where Mark had clapped the loudest. "I thought marrying her would fix me, make me normal. But love doesn't work that way. It just multiplies the ache." Alex nodded, throat tight. He'd spent his college years at Ohio State dodging the truth, hooking up in dorm shadows with guys who vanished by dawn, always chasing the ghost of acceptance. Back home for summers, it was worse, watching Mark mow the lawn shirtless, sweat glistening on his tan skin, igniting sparks Alex doused with guilt. Elena had sensed it. Her letters to Mark, now a Rosetta Stone. "Protect him like you protect yourself. He's more like you than you know." The words, read aloud by Mark's trembling voice, bridged the chasm. But drama loomed beyond the walls. Alex's phone buzzed on the counter, a text from Aunt Lydia. "Check on Mark. Poor man must be lost without her." Irony bit deep. If only she knew how found he might become. "They'll hate us," Alex said, pulling back slightly, his hoodie sleeve catching on Mark's watch. "The family, the town. Dad's side already barely tolerates you." Mark's jaw tightened, the counselor in him surfacing with steady resolve. "Let them. Your mom taught me that love isn't about permission, it's about courage. She forgave my secrets, built this life anyway. Now it's our turn to honor that. His thumb traced Alex's knuckles, a gesture so intimate it stole Alex's breath. The room warmed, the storm outside a mere backdrop to the one brewing within, the pull of desire clashing with the chains of convention. Hours slipped by in whispers, unraveling years of pretense. Mark spoke of his youth in rural Pennsylvania, the farm boy stifled by Bible Belt expectations, the clandestine kisses in college that led to Elena's understanding heart. Alex shared his fragments, the locker room taunts, the first fumbling encounter with a roommate that ended in tears, the way Mark's steady presence had been his unspoken North Star. Laughter crept in, tentative, when Mark admitted burning toast that morning, a domestic failure Elena would have teased him for endlessly. By midnight, the rain had eased to a drizzle, mirroring the tentative peace settling over them. Mark stood, reluctance in his posture, and fetched 2 mugs from the cabinet, Elena's favorites, chipped but cherished. Hot chocolate, spiked with whiskey from the hidden flask, steamed between them. To new beginnings, Mark toasted, clinking mugs, his eyes promising more than words could hold. Alex sipped, the burn grounding him, and for the first time since the diagnosis, hope flickered, not a blaze, but a spark in the ashes. Yet, as dawn crept in, painting the kitchen gold, reality intruded. The front door creaked open, Uncle Ray, Elena's brother, bearing breakfast from the diner, his face creased with concern. "Thought you two might need this," he said, oblivious to the charged air, the way Alex's hand lingered too long withdrawing from Mark's knee. They ate in strained civility. Small talk about the will reading next week. The house's future. But under the table, their boots touched, a secret Morse code of solidarity. Ray left with promises of more visits, the door clicking shut like a judgment deferred. Mark exhaled, slumping against the counter. "That was close," he said, half laughing, half wary. Alex crossed to him, emboldened by the night's confessions, and cupped Mark's face, stubble rough under his palms, eyes searching his with a vulnerability that twisted Alex's gut. "We'll figure out," Alex vowed, leaning in until their foreheads touched, breaths mingling. The kiss, when it came, was inevitable, a slow unraveling, tentative lips meeting in a dance of rediscovery, tasting of chocolate and salt tears. It deepened, hands roaming with the hunger of the starved, Mark's fingers threading through Alex's hair, pulling him closer as if to merge their fractured souls. The kitchen faded, the world narrowing to the press of bodies, the shared rhythm of hearts pounding in sync. But passion yielded to tenderness. They broke apart, gasping, reality's weight settling like dew. "We can't rush this," Mark whispered, voice husky. "Not with everything hanging." Alex nodded, chest heaving, the taste of Mark lingering like a promise. The day unfolded in mundane motions, sorting Elena's clothes for donation. The scent of her lavender perfume, a haunting perfume, but laced with stolen glances, brushes of fingers that sent electricity arcing. By evening, as Alex prepped for his shift at the campus coffee shop, Mark drove him, the truck's cab a cocoon of quiet intimacy. "Come back safe," Mark said at the drop-off, his hand squeezing Alex's thigh, a gesture both paternal and electric. The shop buzzed with students cramming for midterms, steam hissing from the espresso machine like Alex's suppressed sighs. He frothed milk on autopilot, mind replaying the kiss, The confessions, the seismic shift in their orbit. Irregular. Jake from his psych class. Flirted as usual. All easy grins and lingering eye contact. Normally, it might have tempted Alex. A safe hetero-passing diversion. But tonight, he demurred with a polite smile. His heart tethered elsewhere. Shift over. Rain-slicked streets gleaming under street lamps. Alex walked home. The 2 miles a pilgrimage of reflection. Willow Creek slumbered. Its picket fences hiding sins aplenty. But tonight it felt less like a cage. Mark waited on the porch, silhouette strong against the lit window, a beer in hand. "Missed you," he admitted as Alex approached, pulling him into a hug that lingered too long for stepsons. Inside, they shared takeout from Elena's favorite Thai place. Stories flowing freer. Mark's dreams of traveling before life anchored him. Alex's sketches of graphic novels featuring flawed heroes finding love in unlikely places. Bedtime loomed. The guest room Mark had claimed since Elena's illness now a barrier they both eyed warily. "Stay?" Alex asked, voice small in the hallway's hush. Mark hesitated, duty warring with desire, then nodded, following to Alex's childhood room. Posters of indie bands peeling at edges. Bed unmade from hurried mornings. They lay side by side, fully clothed, the space between them humming with possibility. Mark's arm draped over Alex's waist, a protective curve, and sleep came in fits, dreams weaving their pasts into futures yet unwritten. Days blurred into a fragile rhythm. Mornings brought the will reading at the lawyer's office. A sterile space where Elena's wishes unfolded like a love letter, the house to both of them jointly. Funds for Alex's tuition. A clause urging honest hearts to mend what breaks. Uncle Ray blustered about family decisions, his eyes narrowing at their clasped hands under the table, but said nothing yet. Whispers started. As they do in towns like this, a neighbor spotting Mark's truck at odd hours. Aunt Lydia's pointed questions over potluck. Tension crested one crisp October afternoon. Leaves crunching underfoot as Alex and Mark hiked the wooded trail behind the house, a ritual Elena had loved. The air crackled with unspoken fears. Mark's pace quickening until he stopped abruptly at the overlook, overlooking the valley where Willow Creek nestled like a secret. "I can't do this halfway," he declared, turning to Alex with fire in his eyes. "Hiding touches. Coded looks, it's poisoning us. Your mom wouldn't want that." Alex's stomach nodded, the drop below mirroring his dread. "And if we don't hide?" Ray's already sniffing around. "What if he tells Dad? The whole family's implosion." Mark closed the distance, gripping Alex's shoulders, his counselor's calm fracturing. "Then we face it. Together." Because this, he gestured between them, raw emotion stripping his voice bare. This is real. Messy, forbidden, but real. And I've spent too long denying my truth to deny yours. The argument ignited. Words flying like sparks, Alex accusing Mark of selfishness, Mark countering with pleas for bravery. Voices rose, echoing off the trees, until exhaustion claimed them. They collapsed against a fallen log, backs to bark, sides touching in defeat. "I'm scared," Alex admitted, head dropping to Mark's shoulder. Mark's arm encircled him, pulling him close. "Me too, kid. But fear's no life sentence. Elena showed me that, loving fiercely despite the odds." Sun dipped low, gilding the leaves, as reconciliation bloomed. Their kiss there, amid nature's indifferent beauty, was fiercer, teeth grazing, hands urgent, a reclaiming of stolen time. They returned home flushed, resolve hardened, but the reckoning awaited. That night, a knock shattered the peace. Ray, face thunderous, clutching a manila envelope. "Explain this," he demanded, thrusting forward Elena's letters, stolen from the attic. Confessions lay bare. The confrontation erupted in the living room, Ray's Bible-thumping righteousness clashing against Mark's measured defense. "You perverted her memory, grooming her son," accusations hurled like grenades. Alex shielding Mark, his own voice rising in fury. "She knew. She wanted this, for us to be free." Papers scattered, voices breaking, until Ray stormed out, door slamming like finality. In the aftermath, devastation reigned. Mark paced, guilt carving deeper lines, while Alex curled on the couch, sobs racking him. "He's telling everyone," Alex choked out. "Our family's done." Mark knelt, cupping his face with trembling hands. "Maybe. But we're not. Not if we choose each other." The words, simple yet seismic, pierced the despair. They made love then, for the first time slow, reverent, bodies mapping forgiveness in the lamplight. Mark's touches were worship, Alex's responses a surrender, weaving grief into grace. Word spread like wildfire. Calls flooded, cousins decrying abomination, old friends ghosting. The town buzzing with scandal. Dad, Alex's biological father, arrived unannounced, face ashen, demanding Mark leave. The standoff in the driveway stretched hours. Under a harvest moon, accusations flying until Elena's ghost intervened via voicemail. Played on speaker, "Love them as I did." No judgments. It broke the man. He left in silence. A seed of understanding planted. Isolation followed. A cocoon of their making. They leaned into each other, Mark taking leave from school, Alex dropping classes for therapy sessions, exploring identity's labyrinth. Evenings filled with cooking disasters turned triumphs. Hikes turning intimate. Nights tangled in sheets where vulnerabilities spilled like wine. Romance deepened. Mark surprised poetry. Scrawled on napkins, Alex's drawings of them as intertwined vines. Resilient against storms. Yet humanity's value shone in unexpected mercies. A former student of Mark's, now out and proud, dropped by with groceries, sharing his own closet odyssey. Aunt Lydia, of all people, called, not to condemn, but to confess her own buried bisexuality. Elena's confidant. "She made me promise to watch over you boys," she said, voice thick. "Don't let the haters win." Thanksgiving approached. The house once more a battleground of memory. They hosted a small table, just them, Lydia, and a queer couple from Mark's support group, Turkey Golden. Laughter tentative but real. Toast to Elena Bridge Pains. Gratitude for survival weaving through. As pie steamed, Mark rose, glass raised. To family redefined, not by blood, but by choice. And to the woman who taught us that. Alex's eyes met Mark's across the candles. Love a quiet flame enduring. The town still murmured. Family fractures mending slowly. But in that circle, they were whole, proof that from confession's ashes, phoenixes rise. Months turned, seasons cycling like heartbeats. Spring brought renewal. Alex's art exhibit at the community center. Sketches of shadowed figures emerging into light. Dedicated to those who stayed. Mark beamed from the front row, pride swelling his chest. They traveled to a road trip to the Grand Canyon. Elena's dream, where vastness dwarfed their scars. At the rim, winds whipping, Mark proposed, not rings, but commitment. Build this life with me. Alex. Openly. Fully. Tears stung as Alex whispered yes, sealing it with a kiss swallowed by the abyss. Back home, they renovated the house, new paint on walls. Elena's photos joined by fresh ones, them at pride parades in Columbus, hands intertwined under rainbows. Challenges lingered, job whispers from Mark. Alex's lingering doubts, but therapy fortified them. Love the ultimate bomb. Summer's heat mirrored their passion's peak. Lazy afternoons in the backyard hammock. Bodies entwined. Futures whispered. One evening, as fireflies danced, Alex traced Mark's jaw. What you said that night, after everyone left, it saved us. Mark smiled, that boyish grin resurfacing. No. You did. By seeing me. All of me, their story rippled outward. Inspiring quiet revolutions. A school assembly on acceptance led by Mark. Alex's graphic novel self-published. Tales of hidden loves finding voice. The family. Piecemeal. Thawed. Dad's awkward barbecue invite. Ray's halting apology over coffee. Not perfect, but human flawed. Forgiving. In autumn's glow, 2 years on, they stood at Elena's grave, wildflowers in hand. We made it, Mom, Alex said, Mark's arm around him. The wind carried their words. A benediction.
Con không
Love,
thể giấu thêm nữa.
they'd
Con
learned,
yêu anh ấy.
wasn't absence of storm,
Cha hiểu
but
rồi.
dancing in
Mọi
it.
chuyện sẽ ổn thôi.
Profound, eternal.